Yeah, so my name is Brandon Chaney. I am a current senior at TLU, and I am an accounting major.
But for your first question, how has the U.S. education system evolved over time, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think first off, that's a great question. Probably just the first thing I look at is just the rigor. And over
Mm-hmm.
time, I think if you look at your parents being in school, even your grandparents being in school, I think a lot of the methodology and the way that things are done now, in addition to content, I think those are things that they might have not even seen in their time in the public school system, or even in addition to that, probably, you know, saw at a later age. Because algebra, personally, I probably didn't see that until fourth grade. And now they're probably seeing that in first or second grade. So
Yeah.
I just say, like, as time goes on, you're probably seeing a lot more rigor.
What is it U.S. education system doing right, in your opinion?
I will say, and this is probably a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of schools are putting trades back in the schools, right?
Yeah.
Because I think even for myself coming out of high school, it's like I didn't know if I was going to go to college, if I wasn't going to go to college,
Right.
that sort of thing. So I think putting that back into the schools, and you're seeing a lot of school districts do it now and really invest into it, as well as invest into the fine arts. So just, giving students different opportunities and different avenues to explore rather than just the traditional route is what I would say.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. So, kind of in the opposite direction, then, what do you think the U.S. education system needs to improve upon?
I think focus on STEM. If you
STEM.
look at foreign countries, I think a lot of countries focus on science, tech, engineering, and math. And I think the US could do a lot better job of that because, I mean, if you just go look at the rankings, we're not at the top when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
that.
No, we're
And
not.
just I would say the way that the world is shifting in terms of technology, in terms of the difficulty that some things take. Um, and it may not even be difficult, right? Because just starting something out at a young age, by the time you're 16, 17 years old, is second nature. So I think kind of just shifting what we focus on at a younger age would probably be the best thing. So,
How can the U.S. education system better help those that might be either unmotivated or disenfranchised from learning?
so this is a big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say meeting people where it makes sense for them, because everyone doesn't learn the same way. Some people may have to read it, some people may have to hear it, and then there's also different ways that you can present the information. So, for example, having a kid read out of a textbook may not be as effective as you getting up, hey, let's do an interactive activity, get up, go around, get a partner, and be interactive. Because I know for me personally, I learn better when I'm talking to people and collaborating and doing, things of that
Yes.
nature. And so that's probably just the one thing that I would say is maybe we break kids out in terms of what their strengths are. And be like, okay, if you learn more on an auditory level, hey, let's put you in a music class that teaches you about the body.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just different things like that. So
How do you think the U.S. education system will evolve going into the future?
So I think going back to when we talked about STEM, I think you're
Mm-hmm.
starting to see that a lot earlier now. So I think a lot of schools may be incorporating that coding aspect probably at a younger age because personally, I never coded in high school, but
Yeah.
now that may be something that's required just in terms of where careers and jobs are moving and then just the US as a whole, the skill set that we need to succeed. So
And what is your overall outlook on the U.S. education system right now?
overall outlook on the US education system. So there's a couple parts to that. So the first thing I would say is that because we're divided into 50 different states, I think you have to look at that on more of a state level, correct?
Yeah.
And I can talk from the perspective of someone who went through public school in Texas, but I think we probably rank in the middle in terms of education. But for
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's, I don't know, maybe it's Mississippi or different states like that that are on the lower end, their education may be different.
Yeah.
So there's those US standards that we have, but I think just from a federal standpoint, just making things more in unison is what I would say. That way, all 50 states kind of have the same metrics and the same levels to test by.
Right. What is the ideal style of an education system, in your opinion?
Ooh, okay. Here's what I would say. Like, I was a kid who struggled to sit still. So making us get up and do different things and collaborate with people because, like, for me, it was just tough. I mean, I could sit down and read a book if I had to, but
Right.
if I had the choice of, hey, let's go work in a group of four and go outside and you explore and you go find these five things and you solve a math problem, I would have done a lot better.
Yeah.
So I would just say like, incorporating different styles in the school system is probably just the biggest thing that I would like to